Greetings dear viewer and welcome to this new episode of my survival Minecraft Let's Play. I am auite and we start this episode at the stairs right next to our storage system. We do that because I have added some map walls over here. Because this is very close to our storage system, I figured this would become a very essential central part of our world eventually. So that is why I figured this would be a great location to add some map walls. So that is definitely something we'll take a look at the start of this episode. And besides that, we are going to do a bunch of other things in this episode. And because this is my Minecraft Forever world, without really any restrictions to myself as to what I can do and build in this world, that means that usually I can just do whatever I feel like. And today I feel like insulting your mom. Oh, wait, maybe I should restrict myself to things I can do within this video game. Today, I don't feel like doing any big projects, and with big projects, I maybe should nuance that because some of these projects will take their time, but I mean projects that I don't feel are worth a big part of a video like I usually do. Today I would like to tidy up some loose ends and fix some things that are potentially broken or I want to see changed. So today we do a diverse assortment of projects different than we do it otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to get started. So for those of you who already know what's coming, please say it with me. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please play the intro? As you have probably noticed by now, we actually have two map walls here, and that might be a bit strange if you don't understand why that is the case. The reason for that is that we have one version which has these markers on it, and I think these markers are great. However, in the area that we have built a bunch of things, it makes the map look a bit cluttered, and I don't really like that. That is why we have the alternative on this side, where there is no markers at all. At least I have named these maps, and that's why it displays this thing, and I made this one first, and then I remembered, oh, I should name them only when I remove this one and update to the new version, but it's too late and I'm going to leave it up like this. Anyway, there is actually quite a bit of things that have changed in comparison to the last map. So in this world, we update the map in every episode that is divisible by 5. So the last update was from episode 30. And the things that have changed is, first of all, I have made the map bigger. So I have added the top row and the bottom row of the maps. And additionally, I think the main changes that are visible are the greenhouse is added, the blue house is added, and the place where we are right now, so this area right here with the stairs is added as well. And I think for the rest, everything stayed the same. Well, there is some extra stuff that is now visible on the top there. So that right there, that stone, that is actually our moss pit. I haven't really shown that on camera, I don't think. But that is just the area that I've kind of designated to be ugly and where I collect my moss for now. I think in the future we'll eventually build a moss farm, so then this will become obsolete. But for now, that is where I do my thing. You can also see a pink blot on the top there. That is a cherry tree because this is also the area where I do most of my wood farming, where I plant a bunch of trees. Anyway, enough talking about the map. I think most of this stuff is already familiar for long-term viewers. And if you are curious, then just go back into the series and watch the older episodes that are divisible by 5. Now, let's move on to the project of today. The first thing on the agenda is actually my wool farm. I think it's been a very long time since I've actually shown this to you in a video, and over time this farm has produced quite a lot of wool, so one full column and then a little bit over half a full chest. Now, over time, I have been using a little bit of wool from this farm, so maybe if you didn't use that, it would be up to here somewhere. I don't exactly know how much I have used. But the reason we come here is that in the preparation for this episode, I actually did some maintenance to this farm. Because if we go into the redstone access area, you can see that there is some dispensers with shears here. And I have renewed these shears because obviously they will wear out over time because we use them on the sheep to shear them. And right now it was time to replace them because the old ones were almost broken. And doing that kind of gave me the idea for the concept of this episode, where I do much more smaller projects that are like maintenance and tidying up loose ends. Because there are actually a couple of other builds that we have that require a little bit of attention. But first, I think I want to do some new things. For those new things, I come to this area. This is an area that we have been working on a lot recently, but I would like to continue doing so today. You see, we have built this amazing cliffside over here, but it is unfinished, as you can tell. And that is perhaps the second category of things that I want to do today, is finish unfinished things. So today I would like to finish the, how do you call this actually? Preparations of the groundwork of this room. I don't really know how to word it. I don't think I am going to do the ceiling, but I am going to continue the left side of this cliff over in this area. So let's get started, because this will take a while. ladies and gentlemen, I really got into the zone when building this. That is how I was able to continue doing this for several hours and actually finish everything you see right here. I love the way this looks. Like right now, just the sheer scale of this cave actually already makes this look good, even though in a sense we haven't really built anything here yet. It's just the backdrop or like the foundation or basis that we can work off in the future. And I already have some ideas of what I want to build in this big wall over there, but you have to be patient because I have to be very careful in building that. Because it's just hard to design. I'm already working on that in a creative world. Let's go up the stairs and walk you through the things from a close-up perspective. Maybe on these stairs here and there I have to add some lighting. I am not sure about that yet. Alright, let's walk along the side here. So on the other side over here there is the river. Now we are quite high above it actually. But I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I think we can work with this height difference. We might add like a bridge over top to a new area over there. We'll see in the future. Then we have the 2-floor area over here, and I will always go over the top so you can see everything nice and clearly. I think this was already here, most of it. And then over here is a new area that leads to the stairs that we have built earlier. So now we have seen everything. By the way, if you are wondering why my arm looks like this, I have basically lost my skin. That is because I am playing Minecraft in offline mode. I think the Minecraft servers are down right now. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I couldn't get the online mode or like the default mode to work. So I play Minecraft in offline mode right now. And for some reason, I lose my skin and I am Alex right now. Wait, look, you can see I am Alex right now. And I am sure you can prevent this, but I do not know how. So if you are in the comments and you know how to do that, please let me know because I am genuinely curious how to fix this. Next up, we are going to take a look at a bunch of builds that we have done in the past that require some maintenance or fixing of something, or where I just want to change something to improve them. And the first build on this list is actually this one. This is actually quite a recent build, and it is an automated potato, beetroot, wheat, and carrot farm. And it has been running for quite a while now, and it has produced quite a bit of results. So we have got some carrots, and then there is also potatoes. Let's show you what it has produced. This one is still empty, but that's kind of to be expected. There's beetroots. There you go, quite a lot of beetroots. And lastly, there is wheat. And the wheat one seems to be broken, because we do have a lot of wheat seeds, but we do not have hay bales, we do not have bread, and we have a disproportionately small amount of wheat. So something in the wheat farm is broken, and I don't exactly know what that is. So we have to go look in the bowels of the redstone to figure out what is wrong. I think I have found the mistake, and this one really made me facepalm. I have no clue how I managed to not notice this when building this contraption, because this is so obvious what is going wrong here. So over here we have a crafter, and the idea is that we feed it wheat and this will then craft hay bales. We have exactly the same setup for bread. And the items come flowing in from the top, and I think that is working properly. So we have wheat coming in here in this chest, and then it goes down and it goes in here, which we cannot open because there's blocks directly above it. And then it just ends. There is actually no hopper pointing into this crafter. There is no way for the wheat to end up in this interface. And that blew my mind, because that means we can never make any hay bales or bread. And I suspect that there will be bread in this chest specifically right here. If we break it, yeah, there we go. There is all our wheat. So, I have found the problem. But the problem is that this is not an easy fix. This will require some creative thinking in how to fix, actually, because we need a hopper where this block is, and that is bad because we are measuring something through that block using a comparator. So I guess we have to figure out something creative here, and I think in real life I am going to sleep about this a night, but maybe in the video this will be a quick cut. I think I have found a second problem here. So the crafter thing is one thing, but that doesn't actually explain why we got so little wheat in the wheat minecart, because that should not be affected by that problem. And I think the problem is that we have this detector rail here to do whatever we have to do with the detector rail signal. But it is right next to the block where we pull out the wheat that goes into the wheat minecart. And that is bad, because I think that somehow this detector rail is powering that hopper, locking it. So that means that when this minecart goes in that direction, the hopper is powered and it will never pull out any wheat. So yeah, that will drastically decrease the amount of wheat that goes into this one specifically. And I think that's somewhat problematic. But you could ask yourself the question, how bad do you think this is? Because actually, I think this might be a positive, kind of. Because for the bread and the hay bales, we actually require more wheat to fill up the minecart chest. So there is actually an argument for keeping it this way. However, from observing this, I don't think the minecart going in that direction explains the whole problem. Because if it goes in the other direction, I think still somehow through weird Minecraft logic, it can power the hopper before it actually is able to put items in there. So even then, I think the wheat does not always go in there. So maybe we have to look for a way of fixing it, maybe moving this detector rail to over there or something weird. I think it is clear that this fix is not easy and we have to basically redesign a lot of what we have here. So that will, again, ask its time. So I'll have to sleep on this for a night. I have fixed the problem, and I can tell you that it was less difficult of a fix than I originally thought it was. In fact, all we had to do is reroute some hoppers, and we could basically reuse everything that we had built before. However, it is actually kind of difficult to show you the effect of the fix, because to test my fix, I had to inject wheat artificially into the system. And I don't think that's a very representative way of testing how this works. So in reality, we just have to wait until this farm produces wheat, and then we have to see the effect of that. Well, 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 look what has shown up here. A wandering trader has appeared, and this is interesting because this guy sells pale oak saplings, and this is good because this is a wood type that we did not have access to at this point. So now we do. Next up, we come to this gorgeous room, because over here is my cactus farm. And I am absolutely certain that this is a build you haven't seen in a very long time. Anyway, this farm isn't actually broken, it's working perfectly fine. However, I like to add all the bells and whistles I can to my farms, and this one is no exception. I have added an off button to this, so I can turn it off and now it will no longer produce any cactus. And then we can turn it back on and then it will produce cactus again. But when it is off, it's actually broken, because of a change to cactus in a not too long ago update. And we can actually go in here and I can show you what the problem is. So what can happen now is that one of these cacti can actually grow a cactus flower, and that will break the farm. And that will not happen when these pistons are extended, meaning the farm is on. Let me actually swap to that state. Because the cactus, when growing, actually checks if there is blocks around it, so it will immediately pop off. And when that is the case, it will not grow a cactus flower. So this is fine, but when we turn it off, it is not. Luckily, this is an easy fix, because we can just add pistons in the ceiling that push down. So the cactus is always limited to a single height like it is right now when it is turned off, and that will prevent it completely from growing or growing cactus flowers. So that is what we will build for this now. Fixed. Now that it is on, it will look like this, and let's turn it off so you can see the other state as well and you understand what has changed. There we go. Now it is off. And we go in here and now you can see they are like squished, so they can't grow. And that means this project is done. This is easy. Just add a redstone torch to power the top things. Alright, and let's turn this on so we can collect cactus, and let's close the door. So now we can move on to the next project. Actually, not quite. There is actually one more improvement that I can do to this farm, which is an improvement that I want to do on multiple builds today. And that is renaming this chest. I just renamed the chests in an anvil, so it is clear what is supposed to go in here. This helps if somewhere in the far future I visit a build I haven't seen in like a very long time and I forgot how it works. Now I can clearly see, okay, there is supposed to be cactus in this chest. And this is like the extra little bit, just like the little no block tune when you turn it on and off. But I think it adds just that tiny little fraction more to my build, and I want to do it in a couple of builds that we will visit today. For example, we can rename the chests at the wool farm to wool. I also renamed the chests in the skeleton room, so we know this is for the bones, this is for the arrows, and this is for the bows and the armor. I even renamed this one with our special items, such as the zero durability bows. However, I have noticed that our skeleton farm is actually broken, kind of. Because the skeletons are always dying immediately, and that is not how this farm is designed. So somehow the height from which the skeletons are dropping is too much. So I'm really confused as to how this would ever break itself in this way. So the fix to this is to actually go up into the tubing where the skeletons go and just make their drop one block less, which is what we are going to do now. Alright, I have fixed the skeleton farm. The skeletons now no longer fall to their death, and we can come up here and punch them to death ourselves for the XP. And this is how it is intended to work. Oh yeah, I have also renamed this, so it is clear what this is. The chests at the iron golem have been renamed to iron output and to poppies output and even to bone meal output. Maybe you forgot this existed, but in the case that the poppies fill up completely, we can compost them to produce bone meal. Additionally, I have also emptied all the iron chests and I have crafted everything up into iron blocks. And this is the amount of iron this farm has produced over its lifetime. It might actually be worth to check in the redstone of this thing if we can hook up a crafter somewhere so it will craft these iron blocks itself. A simple crafting mechanism has been installed. It works exactly the same as the crafting mechanism I showed you in the long redstone explanation previous episode. And this time I did it right. There are actually items that can end up in this crafter. Now, let's get out of this mess and let's show you the chests again. So what I have done is basically it will collect iron, and when this first column of iron is full, then it will go into the crafter and make iron blocks that will fill up these other two columns. Additionally, I have also renamed this item to on-off. I can't seem to get enough of adding things to my cactus farm, but now that I've done it at the iron farm, I feel like it is appropriate to do it over here as well. The creeper farm has been updated. Its automatic shutoff was broken, so when it was completely filled up with gunpowder, it should shut itself down, but that was broken and I fixed it. The fix was easy. It was a misplaced comparator and a missing repeater. Additionally, I have also renamed these chests to gunpowder, and I have also renamed the items in the item frames over here. Next up, we come to another farm where it's been a very long time since you have seen this. Namely our sugarcane farm, and today the sugarcane farm is in for an upgrade. Maybe let's start with showing you how much sugarcane it has produced over time. So barely under 2 full double chests. Now I have used some sugarcane in the time this has been running, so let's just call it 2 double chests full of sugarcane. The things I want to change today, first off, I have come across a way to change how this works. So right now, when one of the sugarcane grows, the observer will detect it and all 3 of the pistons in like one compartment will fire. And I have come across a way to do it so only 1 piston will fire. Additionally, this farm is missing something that I would like all of the farms in my world to have. That is an on-off switch. I cannot turn this farm off. And today that is changing. We are giving this thing an on-off switch. So let's open up the redstone. If I remember how, I believe it is over here. Yes, and let's add an on-off switch and let's change the observer mechanics. The new way of harvesting sugarcane works by abusing the fact that you can diagonally power pistons from above, but only under certain circumstances. So when the sugarcane grows and this observer powers this block, we actually power the piston as well, but the piston doesn't realize it until this activator rail also gets powered by the block above. Now, the cool part about this is that we can alternate activated rails and powered rails, and that way we can only activate a single piston instead of the whole row. I love this creative solution to this problem, and this is an amazing way of building sugarcane farms, and I think in the future I will practically always build it this way. Ladies and gentlemen, our sugarcane farm has gotten a major upgrade here. We are now able to turn this farm on and off. And I have built it in such a way that we can turn the right side of the farm off and on independently from the left side of the farm. So we can tune this no block and then all of the pistons will extend and that will turn this side of the farm off. And then we can do the same for the right side and we can turn them back on again as well. Also, I have renamed these chests, as I have been doing quite a lot this episode. Right, I have checked how long this video already is, and it is the length that I would like it to be. So I am afraid that we have to end it here. Even though there is still a whole lot of these small tasks left, what I think I'll do is just start the next episode right where we leave right now and we continue doing some smaller things, but I have to end it here. At the end of every episode of my Let's Play videos, I provide you with a random fact. And the random fact of today's episode is that a standard Sudoku puzzle with fewer than 17 given digits cannot have a unique solution without having additional clues. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. As much as I enjoyed making it, I hope I can see you in a future video. And as always, keep wondering.